So, with the grid all formed up and ready to go for this feature race, let's take another look at how they do line up and what the prospects are for those trying to score points. The top 10 will score, remember, but this is double the length of the race we saw earlier on today and in quite different conditions. Mexico and France once more together on the front row, but France have nothing to lose. They're going to be out for race victory. They've already wrapped up the championship. Portugal and Great Britain on the second row. Then the third row, Ireland and Canada, with Patrick Carpentier desperate to show what he can do on a track he knows well. Germany and New Zealand next up. USA and Australia. Watch out for Ryan Briscoe. Dropped back a bit in the first race, but claimed a single point. South Africa and Austria are up there, then Brazil and the Netherlands. The two are together, Verstappen and Fittipaldi. Let's hope they don't make contact again. Pakistan and Switzerland together on row 8, then China and the Czech Republic. Italy and Indonesia. Max Papp is hoping to make progress from back there. And Graham Rahal, they've been working hard on the Lebanese car. I'm pretty sure it's ready to go. Malaysia also starting towards the back. And Alex Young seems to be going pretty well in that first race. So can he get into the points? He's finished in the points in at least one of the races at virtually every meeting he's attended this year. So that's how they line up for this feature race. We talked a little bit a moment ago about the fact that Robbie Kerr will not be driving for Team Great Britain in China. He's got other commitments, but his replacement is here this weekend to have a look at it all. Let's hear from Darren Manning.
Darren, welcome to the wonderful world of the World Cup of Motorsport. Do you like what you've seen so far?
Yeah, apart from the weather, it's too cold for me. It's like being back home in England. But no, it's great, yeah. I've been watching it avidly on TV and everything, and supporting the country and all that. So, but now just to be at the events, you know, pretty interesting, a lot different to what I'm used to.
So you're going to be racing in the Team GBR car in China. Has Robbie been able to give you much feedback so far?
No, he's not telling me anything. He don't want me to do too well. No, he's yeah. I've been involved with the debriefs and the setups of the car and things. You know, I know the team very well, so it's been nice to get reacquainted with old faces.
Darren, I look forward to seeing you in the car and giving us some entertainment when Robbie's not around. Thank you.
Always entertaining with me around. Catch you later.
Well, interesting for Darren Manning, of course. Darren Manning is not an Englishman, he's a Yorkshireman, so this will be Team Yorkshire, not Team GBR, and that identity is worn through him absolutely to the core.
Yeah, he's been racing here in the States and is based now in Indianapolis, but very successful. He's very successful actually with that team. The engineering side of that Great Britain team, looked after by Arden, and they ran him in Formula 3000, and he was a race winner with them. So he's got, as he said, that relationship already based with the team. So looking forward to the start of this feature race. We're only a couple of minutes away now. The track's going to be starting to be cleared away. The hardy fans here in California, they don't normally need to be hardy to watch in California, but you do today with the temperatures that we're experiencing. There is Nicolas Lapierre getting ready to go for Team France.
And we got a brief glimpse of the track and the circuit conditions, and it's still a real guess as to what teams have chosen to do. Do you go safe and start on the wet weather tyre? We know that those tyres will run in these conditions, or will they take a chance and will they go on to dries?
The track ready in time for A1 Grand Prix. All of them raking and getting all the machinery out. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. I hope you all enjoy this. Thank you all for making this happen. Now, gentlemen, for the pride of your nations, start your engines.
So the signal is given, a signal that is well known here in the United States, of course, to start many a famous race. And here we are getting ready for the big race of the day, the feature race, the one that offers up the prize money. And remember that Team France has already won $1.8 million in terms of prize money coming into this event. They've now won an extra $1 million because they've won the World Cup of Motorsport. I wonder if they can gain another $300,000 here this afternoon.
Well, the money will be at the foremost of many of the teams' mind, but looking there, Mexico is on slicks. That's the first look of a car at the front of the grid on that pole position. As we walk down the odd numbered side, what is Portugal on? They are all, no, they're on wets, so Portugal looks on wets,
yep,
but Mexico's on slicks, so Mexico have taken the gamble. This may be a winning gamble, or it could be a complete wipeout, because with the weather, which is still coming darker and darker over the racetrack, we don't know what France has done, we can't see them, or Team GBR. We really need to get in close to these tyres to see what we want to know, whether they're on wets or dries.
Away they go then, green flag gets them going there, and they are on the warm-up lap, but it's a standing start. Remember, when they come back this time, it's not the rolling start that we saw in the sprint race. Malaysia gets going from the very back. Everybody has taken their place and now heading down towards the first corners. So trying to weave up, trying to get a bit of temperature, trying to get a bit of a feel for the circuit, see whether there's going to be much grip out there. There's certainly quite a few difficult damp patches that they're going to have to deal with, and if you move offline in the race... now I thought Lebanon was on the grip, but I was wrong. I'm afraid they were still working on it.
Yes, but they've also opted to start on those dry, slick tyres, so while the work is carried out in the pit lane, there's a little bit more time for Graham Rahal to get established in the car and just compose himself. He will not start this race until the entire field have made their way onto the grid and the lights go out, and he will be at the pit lane exit by the time they line up. Still a lot of water down into turn 5. That's in the braking zone. You've got to be very careful. Remember that the grip there is going to be less than it will be in other parts of the racetrack. Turn 5, and then a long climb up. This looks pretty. It is virtually dry all the way up to the top of the hill, and I would imagine at the top of the hill it will be equally dry. It will be on the descent down from the corkscrew through turn 9. We've seen that there are patches of water running diagonally across the racetrack that will be problematic for those on slicks, but I suspect that it's probably evenly split between those that are opting to start and drive on the slick tyres and those that are going to start on wets.
Yes, and it's going to be difficult. Interesting that Mexico have gone that decision. Of course, Duran does know this circuit a bit better than some of the other drivers. It may well be that it's his call with the team that he's decided to go onto slicks, and he feels that it will dry out fairly quickly and he'll be in good shape doing so. But I wonder, Portugal we know definitely on the wet tyre, so that will give us a pretty good comparison as we get ready for the start of the race. Now they're coming around to take their positions. Lebanon will start from the end of the pit road, and that won't really lose them out at all. They were due to start from the back anyway, and they've gone for the slick tyres as well. So it's easier in a way starting at the back on slicks, but for Mexico, starting on slicks on a slippery track, that is going to be a challenge. There's Patrick Carpentier just moving into position. He could be one to watch here.
Yes, we've got to look at Mexico. They're on pole position. It is on the inside of the track. It is the drier part of the track. You can see France. They are on the left-hand part of the screen, and the damper patches, the darker bit of tarmac, just as France is going to make that standing start.
We gather that it's only Mexico and Brazil that are on slicks. Everyone else apparently is on wet tyres. So watch Mexico and Brazil. Look at the wets. You can see the wet tyres on all the other cars down the grid. But Brazil, who's starting quite a lot further back, are on slicks as well.
Well, if Duran can get the advantage into turn 1, he might be able to control the pace of this race. There is Brazil.
And Lebanon, of course, but
yes,
they're starting from pit lane.
We saw a brief glimpse of Team GBR. They clearly are on the full wet weather tyre.
Here we go, we're all set for the start of the feature race at Laguna Seca. The red lights come on and go out, and we're racing on a damp circuit. Mexico trying to get away, but France with a better getaway. Portugal also going with Team France, but can't get through just yet. Great Britain, Ireland and Germany all battling for third position into the turn number 2. France with a big lead. Mexico, Portugal, Ireland trying to nose alongside Great Britain, and USA trying to go round the outside, but getting squeezed out by South Africa.
Well, France have got an advantage, but that advantage will only last as long as this racetrack stays sufficiently wet for those wet weather tyres to give them an advantage. And of course, I think France are going to use this to try and make their strategy change from one set of tyres to the other. Salvador Duran in second place needs to be careful under brakes as he comes into turn 5. Alvaro Perez behind him. Team GBR on 4th, Ireland in 5th.
Mexico's doing a pretty good job though on those slick tyres, so holding on to second place at the moment.
He'll have the advantage from this point of the circuit all the way up to the corkscrew. And Team GBR closes down on the back of 4th place.
Watch Fittipaldi trying to make progress. He's on slicks as well, but he's battling there with Thomas Enker of the Czech Republic. Flashing there across past the camera. Portugal trying to dive past Mexico, not close enough. And Great Britain, Robbie Kerr, his final A1 race. He's yet to win a race, and he's determined. He's so fired up to get a result here.
Yep, Salvador Perez is looking forward. He's not looking behind. Robbie Kerr, we know, is tenacious in overtaking. He's looking for an opportunity. There is one here into turn 11. He's not close enough to go around the outside, or in this case, try and dive down the inside. What is important is that Salvador Duran has managed to get through one lap on these tyres, and I think the track condition will now begin to favour the slick runners. So he will, once this race gets maybe in 5 laps, should have the advantage, should be able to close down France, and once again put pressure and take an advantage by taking the lead.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he, on his slick tyres, which are now coming up to temperature, and he's managed to stay in second. That's a real achievement. Now Portugal and Great Britain will battle for third place. Ireland 5th, Germany 6th, New Zealand in 7th position. The rest of the field making their way through. And watch out for Lebanon. They're still right at the back. They haven't caught up to Indonesia just yet, but they're on slick tyres as well, and he's got an opportunity to build the heat in those tyres as France begin to really open up their advantage. Escape, but look behind. Mexico has opened up their own advantage now over Portugal in 3rd.
The advantage France had over Mexico at the end of lap 1 was 2.7 seconds. watch and see whether that is any gain or is it stabilizing. And if it is stabilizing, then clearly Mexico have made the right decision. And Stephen Simpson got very wide coming out of turn 6, under attack from Brazil, coming up almost side by side. Simpson defends, keeps the position, dives to the inside, precludes Brazil from getting alongside and going down into the corkscrew.
USA and Netherlands, I'm just about to say they were very close through the corkscrew, side by side. Brian Herter, no, he can't quite do it, and he loses the place to Jos Verstappen. The USA were 9th when they came across the line last time. The Netherlands were 11th, so Jos Verstappen's on the move. And here comes Christian Fittipaldi's down the inside of Australia. Brazil passes Australia and is tucked in behind South Africa.
So the gap across the line was 2.6 seconds. Everything is pretty much even, Stevens, versus wet tires over dry tires. There is still no rain. The cloud is still around, but it's still high. It is not threatening. Ireland are in making their mandatory pit stop. They're going from wets onto slicks. I assume more people would have done that. I can't understand why they didn't take the opportunity.
No, I'm surprised other teams haven't brought their cars in already, but France are getting ready with their slick tyres. Mexico set the fastest lap on that last lap on their slicks, so it's got to be time to come in and put your slicks on, and Ireland called that very well. Now, France are leading. Mexico on their slicks already in second, but remember, they will still have to make a pit stop. That's what you have to do under the rules. Portugal and Great Britain follow.
I just wonder whether Mexico would take the opportunity to bring Salvador Duran in at the same time as France. Remember, he's had 2 laps on slick tyres. He knows what they will feel like. Everybody else pretty much, certainly those at the front, including watching Portugal and Team GBR, will be going into a new area once again.
So these two are racing for 3rd place at the moment. Portugal, Alvaro Perret trying to catch up the little, well, trying to pull away rather from Robbie Kerr of Great Britain, and Kerr looking for the opportunity.
Both going
into the pits. Yeah, so that makes sense. You've got to surely bring them in, and France is in from the lead too. Mexico takes the lead of the race. France into the pits. They will all be switching onto slick tyres, and this is their obligatory pit stop. So they'll get their pit stop out of the way, then they can go racing.
What Mexico must do in this lap, maybe one more lap before they decide to make their pit stop, is use the track to their advantage. They've got clear track ahead of them. They're running approximately 2 seconds a lap faster than anybody else on slicks. We've seen now how many have come in. We've got Brazil, we've got, well, Germany's and Great Britain's and France is going out. So they've made the decision to come in as early as possible. They've realised they made a mistake, in my opinion, by starting on wets.
Great Britain's gained a place on Portugal, but Germany's gained a place on both. So that's a fantastic stop by Team Germany. A brilliant stop by them. Germany 40.3, although look at France's time. And that was the quickest of all.
Jos Verstappen and Patrick Carpentier side by side coming down the pit lane. Who's going to concede? Well, it's Carpentier concedes.
But did Jos go over that white line? It's always the question. Did he go over the white line there?
I think where he came in, it was a blend line. It was going from a wide part of the pit lane into the narrow part. And I think in that situation, you wouldn't say he went over the white line. That's up to the race director and the stewards to decide.
Germany had a fantastic stop there. They really did the business. They've got the Timo Scheider out ahead of Great Britain and ahead of Portugal as well. So Portugal lost out a touch. They were sitting in a good 3rd place with Great Britain chasing them, but it's gone against them on the pit stop. Remember though, it's Mexico that still lead this race on the slick tyres and beginning to open up an advantage, but they still have to do a stop. They might have got the tyre choice right, but it doesn't prevent you having to make a pit stop. That's the rule in the feature race.
He needs to use his tyres, which are pretty much up to operational temperature, to the maximum. His last lap, a 1:21.6 against the best of the rest, which was Christian Fittipaldi, also on slicks of a 1:23. He must use this lap, he must use the next lap to build up that gap, to try and take advantage of what we saw France coming in early and other teams following.
USA in the pits now. Can Brian Herter get a quick stop? That looked pretty good. The total time that's ticking away on the pit stop is, of course, from pit in to pit out.
And South Africa on slicks. That's the danger. You've been on wets, you go on slicks, you push too hard and you crash.
South Africa out of the race, heavily impact against the tyres, yellow flags being waved. I think it's down at turn 2, the corner at the end here. But USA back out on track now, ahead there of Australia. But the safety car is being scrambled. The safety car's coming out on circuit. That's going to cause a little bit of confusion, but surely some more pit stops.
Well, this will work to the disadvantage of Mexico because they have not made their pit stop. They're the ones who are going to be, they and Brazil will be caught short because, well, what do they stay out? Do they now gamble that there will be other circumstances where there will be pit stops?
No, they've come in already,
so they made the pit stop.
It's good. The safety car's not actually on track yet, so this is a good call. They've brought him in before they catch the safety car.
But the question is, can Brazil, who are some 15 seconds behind Mexico, get in? There is the safety car waiting. It is waiting for Salvador Duran, or is it waiting for the field to catch up? Can Salvador Duran and Mexico get that job done? Right rear is all done. Looks pretty good for Mexico. Yes, he can get out. There's the field. Tanguy Zhang goes into the pits. Here is France, but will he get down the pit lane before France takes the lead? It's going to be very close. Remember, 60 kilometers per hour down the pit lane. There they are going down the pit lane. He will have to slow down. Can he get? He can only. Well, he takes the lead technically. I don't know whether that would count.
Yeah, I think it will. France are in front, but look, the pit lane exit shakes a shortcut here. Still won't be able to challenge France, but they're going to come out pretty close together here. France effectively takes the lead, although I'm saying that because Lebanon is yet to stop, and Lebanon is actually now going to be leading this race.
And they are on slick tyres yet. Of course, they've still to make their pit stop.
Yeah, they still make the pit stop, but they're on slick tyres. Brazil has made its pit stop. Just seeing Christian Fittipaldi go past our commentary box here. So Brazil on their way back out.
Well, you have to say that was an even Stevens call. Between starting the race on wet weather tyres, France had the advantage. They got the clear road. They used it to maximum effect. Salvador Duran starting on slicks had to be cautious on the opening lap because he couldn't tell what the track conditions were. He didn't know how hard he could push. He pushed hard once he got that knowledge, but of course the balance just tipped by, well, maybe by a second in favour of France, and you can't really say any better than that.
No, that's right. France, again, a great pit stop by France. You know, that group that all came in together, I think France were the quickest, and they might just have done enough. The teamwork that's gone into that outfit is just fantastic. They may just have done enough to get him out ahead. We saw it last time as well. That's a replay. Oh,
yeah,
it's up
on turn six.
Yeah,
he just got it wrong. I mean, he during the sprint race, he ran that curb on a couple of occasions. This time he got it wrong on full dry weather slick tyres, and that's sad. Let's watch again. This is an onboard shot. As when he got it, he hit the curb on the inside, then got you can see how wet went one way, then just speared off into it, and that was the view from onboard Ireland. And sadly, no more South Africa in this feature race.
So with a lot of pit stops coming in and the safety car now out, let's just try and take stock of the situation. Team Lebanon currently leads the race, but they haven't made their pit stop yet. And France took the advantage when Mexico came in just to come out ahead. It's interesting, it reminds me of the last race when France were able to just stay ahead of the Netherlands as well on their pit stops. And part of France's success, we've been talking about how good their drivers are, but a lot of it is also how effective they've been in the pit. So it's France behind Lebanon, but first to the stoppers, then Mexico, Germany, Great Britain's up there, so is Portugal, but they did lose a couple of places on the stops. New Zealand 7th, Netherlands 8th, Czech Republic 9th, then Canada 10th. Ireland's dropped away a little bit in 11th place ahead of Austria. USA's now in 13th.
So let's look at the start again, and wheel spin for Mexico, bite and grip for France. Portugal trying to make it into a second place by going the long way around Mexico, but Mexico could consolidate going into turn one. Here we are through turn one, then the drop down into turn two. Alvaro Prats getting in behind the rear wing of Mexico as the rest of the field makes their way down. 99% of them on wet weather tyres. Only Mexico and Brazil, plus the Lebanon, who started from the pit lane, opted to start on dry weather slicks. Let's watch how he deals with that pressure.
Well, he got a bit sideways out of the last corner as he gets on the power, and France have got a better start, and they're going to surely attack down into turn number 2, into the Andretti hairpin. France going around the outside. A brave manoeuvre here from Nicolas Lapierre. Rahal doesn't want to give it up, but he has to in the end, and France goes back into the lead of the race. Behind them, we've got Mexico and Germany.
Well, Graham Rahal did everything possible, apart from trying to barge and block his way around as we look down through the field. Brazil, they're battling with Australia, and now he's got Mexico breathing all over the back of the Team Lebanon car.
Quick glimpse in the mirrors, but Rahal's not being dropped, and in fact, if anything, he's staying with Team France as Germany and Great Britain go side by side. Kerr's trying to go around the outside. Oxford, Germany couldn't pull it off.
But he's got to stay off those curves. Robbie Kerr is tenacious in his overtaking, but he's got to be careful. Those curves are moisture laden. If you saw what happened to Stephen Simpson, Robbie's got to stay away from them.
Team USA have got past a car there. Team USA managed to get past Austria. The Netherlands has picked up a drive-through penalty. They apparently overtook during the safety car period. So Netherlands, currently running in 8th place, will be coming back into the pits for a drive-through.
And just look up the course. The drop is almost vertical. We watch China coming through turn 9s, and again, part of that track still damp. You can see a mixture of mud being kicked up as well as spray. But look, Graham Rahal has not let France get away. He's decided, I like it at the front, and I'm going to grow, which is what he's got the opportunity to do. Learn from a master, Nicolas Lapierre, and resist the pressure from behind. Jos Verstappen slides down the inside of Team New Zealand, but of course, he's got to come in and make that mandatory pit stop, drive-through penalty.
Yeah, and I think Halliday's probably been told by the team, don't fight with Verstappen. He's got to make a drive-through anyway, so don't worry about him anymore. You can see that USA came through there in 12th, so they did gain that place from Austria. Behind, just ahead of them now is Ireland and Canada. So that's the sort of battle just to get into the top 10. Stephen Simpson's made it back to pit lane.
Well, that's a dejected Stephen Simpson. He made an error. He caught the damp on the inside of turn 6, which threw him across the racetrack, got it on the outside of turn 6, and then the car just turned right and into the tyre barriers. He had been doing that. I'd watched him doing it in the sprint race, but he didn't get away with it here in the feature.
Now, Christian Fittipaldi is the other driver driving for Team Brazil who started on slicks, but he did make a pit stop. So he's now currently running in 15th place, just tucked in behind Italy. Max Papis, these two have raced hard against each other in the past. They've got Malaysia, Alex Young, and also Australia tucked in behind them too. So that's another little one to watch there. There's the green, white and yellow colours of Brazil. There, the yellow and white of Malaysia.
And Italy putting Austria under pressure as they come into turn 11. And this top 4 now, concertina, as they come out of turn 11.
Yeah, we're looking there actually, the Czech Republic, Canada and Ireland. And look at this, Lebanon still trying to protect that second place from Mexico and only just managing to do it.
And Team GBR now under pressure from Portugal. So mirrors full of a car behind looking forward as we go on board. This is coming through turn 3.
Yeah, on board with Mexico.
What's that curb?
Mexico lost a bit of time there, and in fact Lebanon gained a bit of time. Look right behind Germany and Great Britain and Portugal all tied together as they head up the hill.
And it's Great Britain that's under pressure now from Portugal. They had been applying the pressure to Germany, but that little mix up coming out of turn 4 caused the field to spread out again and up into turn 6.
Netherlands still out there at the moment. They haven't come through for their drive-through penalty. Jos Verstappen is running in 7th, and he looks quick. It's a real shame that they've picked up this penalty, because look how he's managed to catch up to the back of this train.
Well, the team will be telling Jos Verstappen he's got to come in and serve that penalty. If he ignores it, then it'll be a serious driving offence for the Dutchman. He will no doubt, I think, come in at the end of this lap.
Australia there at the back of that group. They're running down in 17th place. Ryan Briscoe having his first proper outing in an A1 Grand Prix car, but further just ahead of him there is Alex Young of Malaysia.
The Netherlands have come in, so they're going through, and we're seeing power boost coming from Germany and from Portugal. They've got that sandwich with Great Britain in the middle.
That cloud is looking very threatening up above. Netherlands making their drive-through penalty. This is going to drop them way down the order, because of course the field is pretty close together. Having been under safety car conditions recently, he's going to come out right at the very back, and it's proving to be a pretty horrible day for Jos Verstappen.
And as he left the pit lane, he just floored it on the engine's rev limiter and wheel spin. So Jos Verstappen, that's frustration. We saw the degree of frustration when he had the spin in the sprint race. He had donut upon donut. Again, look at that Team GBR seeking out every opportunity to make a pass on Germany. They want to get on the back of Mexico to apply pressure to Lebanon. The young Graham Rahal, who is running currently in 2nd place. Remember, he hasn't made that pit stop yet. It's a mandatory pit stop for 1 set of cars.
But his last lap was actually half a second quicker than Team France's. That's amazing. I think France must have made a mistake, but nonetheless, Graham Rahal was quicker than Mexico, quicker than France on that last lap for Lebanon. They're showing great competitive pace here, and this young 17-year-old, he is definitely one to watch for the future. He could be a real star in the making. This A1 Grand Prix car seems to be bringing the best out in him. But look, attacking for 4th place here, trying to get past Germany, and Robbie Kerr in his final A1 race will do his utmost to gain each and every place.
Well, he's had to work very hard for it. The gap once again has opened up. As they come through turn 1, the drop down into turn 2. So easy to outbrake yourself. Jos Verstappen, having served out his penalty, just compounds the situation. I mean, Jos, do you want to be an entertainer or do you want to be a race driver? We like the entertainment side. It's pretty good.
Well, look at this. Italy with Malaysia in there as well, and Brazil all getting very close together there. Almost contact. And now surely Fittipaldi's got a chance. Going to go for it down the inside. Not enough space. Young covers the inside.
And Young is always difficult. He always manages to get his car in the part of racetrack that you're about to use. He's not doing anything unfair. He just uses it wisely.
Yes, clever, intelligent racing from Alex Young. Very cool customer in the car, he is. Doesn't seem to get overexcited. Knows, as you say, exactly where he wants to position it, make life difficult for those behind. But it's easy to make a mistake still in these conditions. You just saw them splash a bit of water. If you go over the wrong curb, even though the track's dry, there's still a lot of water around from that earlier rain, and you can get into trouble quite easily. Austria under attack from Italy. This is for 12th place. Matthias Lauda trying to defend from Max Papis.
Oh, it's been Malaysia has been run. Was that contact or was that just simply too much? There you can see the cause. That was too much right foot. He just booted the throttle and around the baby went.
Oh, Alex Young, we've seen him do that a couple of times as well this year. He just gets a bit carried away perhaps on the throttle, and now Netherlands trying to go around the outside of him. Verstappen just drives right round him.
Well, I mean, Jos Verstappen, I mean, he's either on it or he's on it, and today you've got both.
He's gained his first place anyway, or several places. I think he's actually, let's just see as they come across the line. Yeah, he's got to try and get past Switzerland. It's the next one, and they're a bit further up. There is Switzerland actually making the move on China. It's a bit different, isn't it, this Swiss performance to what we've seen when Neil Yarny's in the car?
I think it's the first time we've seen Switzerland and Giorgio Mordini look like a racing driver all weekend.
So he's managed to get past China. Deng Yizhang now drops the position. Let's see what happened to once again here. There was a slide ahead. I think there was some muck that had been chucked down on the road there.
Well, I don't know. I think it was just too much right foot. You can see how much he tried to drive himself out of it. It didn't look to me to be that was the problem. I think it was just simply too much pressure, too much power, and spin was the consequence.
Yeah, the waved yellows were out pretty fast as he managed to get going, so he did a good job of recovering, and then of course was passed by the Netherlands on the latter part of the lap. So Team France lead the race from Lebanon in second place, but Lebanon are yet to stop. Then it's Mexico, Germany, Great Britain, you can see them coming out of the final quarter, Portugal, and then New Zealand.
Well, the pressure's beginning to tell because Lebanon are dropping back to 2.4 seconds now behind race leader France, and Nicolas Lapierre, the experience, the confidence that goes with winning so many races and being in the winning team, just dragging them away from France, and the pressure now coming behind. Lebanon is from Mexico 1 second behind Graham Rahal.
Good dice going on further back between the Czech Republic, the red, white and blue car, Thomas Enger at the wheel, and Team Ireland right behind. There's Ralph Furman really pushing to try and move up one. That would put him into 9th place, and not far behind them is Brian Herter of Team USA. They're running in 11th place currently, quite a way ahead now of the battle between Austria and Italy for 12th. So they can focus on their own little dice, but it's Thomas Enger who's controlling this at the moment. Herter desperate to make up for what has been a disappointing home race for the team so far.
Well, if he was ever going to win a race, this had to be the racetrack that was going to happen. It's the racetrack he won his first kart race in. It's a circuit he knows intimately. He's got confidence coming here, but that confidence has not translated into natural track speed, and running right now just 1 point outside top 10 position, one position as well. So dropping back a little bit, coming through the corkscrew, down through this double left-hand turn 9, then switch back to make it through again. Cambered, heavily cambered corners here. And they're going to take it into in the final corner. On a bit straight contact there. Indonesia, is that Indonesia spin?
And China. Yeah.
Yes, coming out. Oh, can't see that. I think it was Indonesia running with China.
Yeah. It was the yellow nose cone on the Indonesian car, so it was definitely those two cars that got together somehow. We didn't see how it all began.
I just wonder, in fact, we saw that mistake from Malaysia earlier on. Is there water still being retained in those curbs at the top of the circuit? Because if you think the track is dry, but the curbs, and because there are slats in them, that can hold water, and that can be the cause of the reason we're seeing these issues up at turn 8.
France might have a 2.8 second lead, but Lebanon has got his mirrors full of this car. Mexico, you're riding on board with the man who won the sprint race earlier on today in the rainy, wet conditions, and he drove superbly to do that. But now we're in the dry, we're on slick racing tyres, and Salvador Duran keeps the pressure on Team Lebanon. Lebanon yet to make their pit stop, and still the track is dry, no rain falling as yet.
Yeah, clearly it's possible for, there we look at, this is what happened. Indonesia runs off, the track drags mud on, spins around, and then the car following also gets involved. That was China. So Ananda Mikula, as you watch, well, Pakistan got through cleanly, Switzerland got through cleanly. Where is China? There is China. That was a sympathy spin, I think.
Would you believe it? Team Netherlands has got another drive-through penalty, John, and guess what for? It was speeding in the pit lane.
Well, I think that Jos Verstappen will just treat this simply as entertainment. Again, pressure coming from Mexico. They need to get ahead of Lebanon to take this challenge to France. The gap now between Mexico and France is 3.8 seconds, and there's not very much Salvador Duran is able to do. Graham Rahal doing a stunning job in defending this on merit second place.
Great Britain again closing up to the back of the German car. It's not an easy track on which to overtake here because you've got these medium speed corners, difficult to tuck right under the rear wing of another car. Switzerland here, meanwhile, having a little go at getting past Pakistan. This is for 16th position.
Jos Verstappen, I think, has decided to call it a day. He is disgusted, frustrated, fed up, wants to go home, and I think he's decided, well, I don't know who made that decision, Jan Lammers, who is the team manager, or Jos Verstappen, but Jos's body language is, I am not happy, I'm actually very angry.
He's had enough, hasn't he? He's had enough of what was a desperately disappointing outing for him, and it's all over for Team Netherlands. He's heading back to their cabin, and we're not going to see him out again.
Well, I think you should send Lee in for the interview. I don't think Gareth had much chance after his last effort with Jos Verstappen.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want to get stuck in right now. Definitely not happy. He's had enough. Can't deal with all that. And I wonder, of course, he was done the first time for overtaking under safety car. And there is Jan Lammers going in to find out what's happening. So, back into what's going on further down. Look how the Team USA have caught the Czech Republic. Ireland have got past Enger, and now here comes USA down the inside to gain the place. Maybe Enger's got a problem here.
Enger just opened the door and said, Brian Herter, take my place away. There's something clearly not working for the Czech Republic. He's lost 2 places in the space of a lap, so something the Czech Republic. But just going back to the Team Netherlands, you saw Jos Verstappen walk past the team principal, Jan Lammers. I just wonder, who is the team boss in the Netherlands team? Is it Lammers or is it Verstappen? Because that was a Verstappen decision to get out of the car and park it and say thank you and good night.
Coasting is Brazil. Brazil in trouble there. An arm up from Christian Fittipaldi. He did tell us about a gear change problem in the first race. I wonder, makes you wonder if he can't pick up the speed here, whether he hasn't got a similar type of problem. Meanwhile, China is in. Now, what's this for?
Well, they're looking into the air intakes. Maybe they've got an overheating issue because if you go off track, you can drag in, and there's also paper. Is that paper in there, or they're just cleaning? I think they're using that paper to clean out the mud. Now, we saw he got 1,000 lines from the team manager yesterday for going off track. I'm not sure what the punishment today will be.
Well, they've sent him on his way once again, and looking forward, no doubt, to their home event. Past his lap, yep, just gone to Team France, race leader. Look in the background, though, the crowd still looking threatening, some way away. Lebanon still second here from Mexico.
And that gap between Mexico in third and France has increased by a second. It's now 4.6 seconds. And there's nothing Salvador Duran, who won the sprint race, is able to do about Graham Rahal, who is running here for Lebanon in second place. He is running at a pace which is effectively slowing down Mexico. We know Mexico have got more natural speed because of the experience of Duran.
Yeah, but
nonetheless,
it's not much.
No,
I mean, you look at that last lap that Lebanon did, it was a 1:18.7, and France might have got fastest lap, but it was a 1:18.4. It's really still pretty much on the pace.
But I think the question is, Mexico are capable of running at France's pace or quicker.
Race continues, the feature race here with some 27 minutes still to go, but what is going to happen with the weather? Christian Fittipaldi's made it back to the pits. We saw him arm up. There was obviously a mechanical problem. Look at that sky.
Oh, dear me, that is problems. I mean, everybody should be in the pit lane right now with their wet weather tyres virtually ready to go, because if that comes in, that's going to come in with a thunderburst, which will probably be much worse than we saw in the sprint race. But looking at the lead, France have got an advantage of Lebanon by 4.6 seconds, and still that half a second behind Mexico. But credit, I mean, Graham Rahal has done a magnificent job here in only his second outing in an A1GP car to be running in this company with the experience he's got. 17 years of age. All right, his father won here 4 times in the middle 80s between 84 and 87, but that's in the past. It's Graham who's the race driver now. Dad Bobby, he's just a dad.
He is, and he has a pretty amazing finishing record, although he didn't finish that sprint race earlier on today because they had to go to work on it, and that's only his second non-finish in some 29 races over the last couple of years, racing in a much lower levels of single-seater before he moved into A1, but nonetheless an impressive record.
Mexico under pressure, or putting pressure, I should say, on Lebanon, but equally GBR putting pressure on Germany, and they're also subject to pressure from Portugal. Those 3 nations, Germany, Great Britain and Portugal, have been battling for 4th place since the start of this feature race. 23 laps to go, and we've got 25 minutes remaining, so it is not going to go the distance, 22 laps.
power boost has been used more there by Lebanon than most of the others. Still 6 available for Great Britain, 4 available for Germany. That, of course, remember, gives them an extra 30 brake horsepower when they get on the button. Oh, and Great Britain had a bit of a slide there. He kept it, but only just.
Well, Robbie, I think, was trying to force an issue. He was trying to make room for himself. He made the error, locked it up, he ran wide. Portugal wasn't in position or hadn't anticipated it early enough to try and take advantage. But that's how fine it is, the nip and tuck between these totally equal matched cars, engines, tyres, everything. It's about the driver and your particular car setup and on the day.
Yes, all these identical machines racing hard for position. Portugal there looking still quite dangerous to Great Britain. They're running in 6th place. In terms of that 3rd place in the championship, of course, that's looking good for Great Britain because Brazil have got out back onto the circuit, but it's still not running right.
No, and they're running literally at a very slow pace, and I suspect that maybe the recurrence of a gearbox problem we saw as Italy tries to make its way around Austria. Matthias Lauda in a much more drivable car than we've seen at any point from Matthias Lauda during the entire series. Looks to try and make the cut back, and a little bit of weaving from Max Pappas trying to keep the Austrian behind him. Max Pappas again a winner here in 2001 in a car that knows the circuit and made the pass, maybe got a little bit of dampness on his tyres in the process, and now once those tyres get cleaned up, he ought to be able to pull away comfortably from Austria.
Yeah, running in 13th position as a result of getting past. He's got Australia ahead of him, running in 12th. Czech Republic, who seemed to drop back earlier on, still running in 11th place, but they're outside the points.
Well, further down the field, Canada, they're running in 7th place. They're looking very quick indeed. They've actually recorded the fastest sector time. That's between Sector 1 and Sector 2.
So Canada also showing good pace then, as you say, running in 7th place at the moment. They're a bit behind this group that we're looking at the moment, so maybe just beginning to close up a touch. Still some very tricky patches of water around, and it's pretty impressive to see that no one's been caught out by those as yet. Having to tread a little carefully in 1 or 2 spots, but able to attack hard elsewhere.
Well, this battle we're focusing on, which is really for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th position. Portugal is in 6th. It is Canada in 7th. They're 5.5 seconds behind Portugal. They've got clear track. So the speed we're seeing from Patrick Carpentier is capable, but he's lapping quicker than these cars ahead of him. So he will be drawn up, and look at that Portugal, the back end snapping out again with contact with the curb.
So down the hill they go, and it's over now for Brazil. Well, that's no surprise. The car was going very slowly once again, and they obviously haven't managed to cure the problem on the Brazilian car. So it hasn't been a great day for Christian Fittipaldi here. He'll be looking to his final outing in Shanghai in China in 3 weeks' time. But still this race rages for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th places. There is Team Great Britain. They're running in 5th, tucked in behind the German car as they have been for lap after lap. But just unable to find that little opportunity to sneak through.
Well, in the same way that Mexico are unable to find a way past Lebanon, Great Britain is unable to find a way past Germany.
Switzerland have had a minor off a moment ago. This is a replay of what happened. I think he managed to get back on without any further damage, running down in 19th.
I think I refer to my comments earlier in the broadcast.
Well, he also had a long pit stop a little while ago. I'm not sure what that was all about, but he was definitely sitting in the pits for quite a while. They sent him on his way once more, but he's been off track since then. Everybody just trying not to make a mistake at this stage, and that's not easy to do in these conditions. Let's just ride on board here for a moment with Mexico. Salvador Duran, watch the track surface. Look for where there's grip, where there's perhaps little splashes of water. Dry through turn 9 there. Now down into turn 10.
Well, both these drivers have got knowledge of the racetrack. Salvador Duran, of course, benefiting from winning the sprint race, but unable to come to terms with Graham Rahal. Both cars equally matched. It's just simply about Graham Rahal driving above his ability in a category of car which he's never really raced prior to going to Mexico to the race in Monterrey. And I mean, I think this is very impressive. But again, look at that sky coming in. I mean, we've been talking about it. It's not maybe coming as quickly. And maybe that was an error. Was it just slightly overrunning into turn 2 from Mexico? Trying again to put his car. It is.
He's got a chance.
He's got a run on him now.
Mexico
he's got alongside. He's taken that place away.
That's a good move by Mexico. And you know what, John? Oh, and he's going to lose it to Germany too. Where's Great Britain? They're not quite as close, but Germany nips through as well. And I was just thinking, this is the longest race probably that Rahal, apart from he's done a little bit of sports car racing, but longest single-seater race he's done.
And he's gone around the outside. He's just repassed Germany. He decided, well, I lost that position. Is there contact? Germany and tied. There was contact, right front, left rear. And Team GBR, they're trying to get into this mix as well.
Well, great racing here, and I just wonder whether Rahal was beginning to tire a little bit after 25 laps of the feature, but he's not prepared to give up. He fights his way back in front of Team Germany and reclaims at least one spot.
So now this, I mean, it's unbelievable. We've got Germany GBR, Mexico, all trying to find a way past Graham Rahal. There was contact between Germany and Lebanon between turns 5 and 6. But the fight that the Rahal driver has got is just, I mean, it's fantastic.
Great to see. It's good to see another new talent showing what they can do in A1 Grand Prix. But he's been passed now by Mexico. So Mexico now up to second place. Can go on the chase of Team France. France, though, a long way up the road. They're 8.3 seconds ahead. Now, this was the area where Rahal lost a bit of time on the last lap and allowed first Mexico and then Germany to nip through.
And somebody just ahead. Now, that's a car that's been in the pits. So this may well have a bearing on what's going to happen. Well, in fact, it wasn't. It was Mexico who just pulled away, but they also locked up a little bit.
Oh, Rahal!
Lost it. There's a contact. Somebody's going to hit him. How did they avoid him? 3 cars managed to avoid. Graham Rahal got into a spin again. That was, I'm sure, contact with the curb on the inside of turn 3 that caused him to lose the back end. And suddenly, it's a totally different complexion on this race with 18 laps to go.
18 laps or 19 and a half minutes, depending on whether we get to the 1 hour before we get to the race distance. That was a great shame for Rahal. He's been driving so brilliantly, but I do wonder whether the old fatigue's not beginning to set in. It's not an easy circuit, this one. It's quite a demanding track. He's never really driven anything of this level on this track before. The only A1 race he's done before was at Monterey, a much easier physical circuit.
And that's given Germany a slight breathing space because they've got an extra maybe second now advantage over Great Britain, who have got their mirrors yet again being filled by the car of Alvaro Parante, Portugal. So Germany got the break. They can now run at a natural pace, which they've not been quite capable of doing while they were running for a long time in that chain of cars, all behind Team Lebanon and Mexico.
The other point to make about the Lebanese car, of course, is he's done 27 laps on that set of slicks, so I may be calling it wrong. He's come in now for his tyres, and that's right. It may simply be that those slicks are a little bit past their best.
Well, I think he caught the wet inside curb. That's what threw the car into the spin. The team have often taken the opportunity to go on to a new set of slicks. So good job from Lebanon. Quick pit stop in and out. Graham Rahal really has earned lots of spurs here this afternoon, and just one little minor error saw him spin and lose that position and take the opportunity, bring him in and change those tyres. They've still got 17 laps to go, or some 18 and a half, or say 18 minutes and 15 seconds. Anything can happen here this afternoon. Still, again, that blackness creeping slowly over the racetrack.
Yeah, it's still a little way away. That camera shot does foreshorten it, but there's no doubt that it's there in the background. And Lebanon now back out on circuit. Now, of course, this does drop them way down the order. Let's take a look at that spin.
To 16th. Now watch the inside wheel. There's a puddle there. Actually, he was up. He caught the puddle, and he just was too opportunistic with the throttle. How those 3 cars got away? I mean, none of them knew where Graham Rahal's car was going to go. Now he's in there. This is new tyres, cold tyres, inexperience, and that's it. This may be a safety car again, because that car is in a part of racetrack. It's on the inside of the exit of turn 3, we anticipate.
So this was just after he came out of the pits, John. This is what happened.
Yep, inside of turn 3, similar place to 1 lap ago when he spun the car. That water again caught him out, this time on tyres that weren't at racing speed, and I think he's lost the engine. So whether we will see a safety car intervention, there well we are, yes. So be prepared, guys. This is all going to, once again, concertina. The 9-second advantage that France had over Mexico will once again evaporate. So it will be France, Mexico, Germany, Great Britain, Portugal, and Canada. The top 6 will be back at the races. 1 minute 17.9, fastest lap for France. Nicolas Lapierre will think, okay, we've won the championship, but am I going to win this race yet? There's a lot more work to do for France before this day is over.
Safety car is heading into the pit lane. We're going to get this race restarted. It'll be France who will control the pace. Mexico, Germany, Great Britain, remember, right in there as well as they get ready for the restart. Opportunity under safety car to close right up to the back of the Canadian car, but there's no change initially into the first corner. China were running a little bit wide there, I noticed, just in the background. And so we've got a real problem there, a real problem for New Zealand, having spun it and now trying to get back into it. And now he does get going, but of course he's dropped right down to the back of the field. France still going, Mexico in second place, Germany in third, and then Great Britain, Portugal and Canada, but no New Zealand. They've dropped to the back, and that has promoted Ireland and then USA and the Czech Republic. Well, we've down the hill in corkscrew. It's still Australia there in that midsection. They're running in 11th place, then Italy in 12th, Austria in 13th place, then Pakistan still running in 14th. But Nicolas Lapierre, we've seen him drive so effectively in A1 Grand Prix this season, and he's got the advantage again on the restart, splashing through that big puddle on start-finish straight and still accelerating up the hill. Second for Mexico, third for Germany. They've made a little bit of a break, there's no doubt about it, from Great Britain, Portugal, and then Canada, and then Ireland running in 7th place, United States up to 8th, Czech Republic 9th, and then we've got Australia. So that little mishap for New Zealand certainly costing them a huge amount of time. France, so still up there in control. Let's just take another little look. This was New Zealand, and round went the New Zealand car. It looked like it just got onto the water and just spun the back end round, and he managed to refire it up, get going once again, and then rejoin the fray. We've got a little technical problem with our microphones here, so that's why John can't explain exactly what happened on that spin, but we will get that sorted just as quickly as possible. And it's still France in control here and looking very well set. But look at Salvador Duran, you know, he took the win in the sprint race earlier on, and he's keeping it all under control here for the moment, tucked in behind, not really close enough to challenge as they come down towards completion of another lap. We've still got just over 7 minutes of this race remaining, and I think we're going to see Duran just lapping consistently and holding on to this second place. Doesn't look as though that threat of rain that we were talking about earlier is actually going to materialise. The heavy black clouds are still just too far away over the coastline, and as France splashes through the puddle down towards turn 2, I don't think there's any particular danger coming from those clouds overhead. Further back, still a battle going on here between Australia and Italy. Max Papis in the blue car trying to put the pressure on. This is for the final point in the series. 1 point on offer to 10th place. At the moment, it's Australia who has it, but Papis is challenging.
Well, Mexico is really unable to do anything. That gap over a second. Germany a further half a second behind them as we look down through the field. And Ryan Briscoe, he's got pressure from behind from Australia. Czech Republic, Australia, Italy, but no one is able to look at France.
Yeah, it looks like France are heading for win number 14 here. It does look as though there's not going to be any response to their pace. Oh no, Czech Republic off. Czech Republic and Australia may have had a coming together there, and it's gone wrong again. Oh, another spinner there in sympathy. I think that's China, who's come around, hit the brakes through the middle of the corner, and that's all gone wrong for them as well. Well, it's all happening, and China and Czech Republic remain at the side there, and we're surely going to see the safety car coming back out onto the circuit any moment.
Well, that's a sympathy that we've seen two sympathy. As a consequence, here we go, on board. Here it goes, again that water on the inside, then on the outside. Look at the fight. Can you hear me?
So let's just take another look at that once again. The Czech Republic just missed there by Austria, and then Malaysia just also sneaking around on the outside on the curb there.
New Zealand just about gets where they ran the curve.
Well, it's really all gone to pieces there for Czech Republic, and we're going to see that safety car back out again any moment.
Well, that incident, Czech Republic, they just ran the curb on the exit of, well, actually going into turn 6, then on the exit, caught the curb. We've seen drivers do that. China, well, that was a sympathy spin. New Zealand somehow or other got through cleanly, and they continue on their way. But this is the battle for the race lead, and Mexico is closing down on this. The gap now was, well, it was 1.5 seconds at the end. It is fine. Well, Mexico's letting. This is a showboat we're seeing now. France has pulled over and let Mexico take the position. They've got a problem, and it isn't a showboat. France has got a problem.
Drama in the closing stages. France have lost the lead. They've got real problems, and they've dropped back down the order. Well, would you believe it? Mexico go back in front, and then it's Germany in second place, and Great Britain up into third. Well, you wouldn't have guessed that was going to happen. And Chris Gorn, race engineer for Team France, can't quite believe what he's seeing. suddenly their luck has run out. They've won the championship, but something's gone wrong.
I mean, that was, I thought, maybe a little bit of, with the inter-nation activity, and for sure France have got a problem. So Mexico lead this race by 0.3 of a second from, it'll be now, Germany.
He's stuck in third gear. Look at the graphic. The third, it's staying third all the way around the track.
There's nothing he can do. He can stay in third gear all the way around, but in reality, I suspect France will bring him in. And all that can do is just do ultimately damage to a potential gearbox problem, but maybe electrical. But he runs wide, and well, France don't lose the car, don't spin it for the Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal. So he's obviously trying to go around in third gear, and he's carrying too much speed into that part of the corkscrew, normally taken in second gear, and he just couldn't control it. Now, of course, he's on the rev limiter all the way down here.
But he's got to go into the pits. France have got to come in. There's no point in staying out. We're not seeing France having entered the pit lane. There's the battle that's going on now for second place. Robbie Kerr, look at him, all fired up, sees the opportunity. Can he go around the outside? He hasn't got the grip, he hasn't got the space to do it. But, I mean, Robbie Kerr wants to go out on a high note.
Yeah, he does, but he's got a podium finish in the bag here because he's already in third place. That puddle down there through turn 3 really is a tricky section. There's USA still dicing with Austria. This is for 9th place, and Austria into the points ahead of Australia. Australia, of course, getting caught up in that Czech thing, and France have pulled off. France have pulled off the track.
I do not know why France didn't go into the pits, because it was inevitable. The problem was going to see a retirement, certainly if not in the pit lane, in the track. And now the car stopped again at a part of racetrack. Will this see another safety car deployment? Or we see this battle, Austria, now Australia. Brian Briscoe dives down the inside, takes that away from Austria. So it's Australia now in 10th and Austria down to 11th.
So all changed. Still yellow flags, though, waving up at that section of track. So they've got to be very careful, very wary. We didn't see the safety car come out, but we have got yellow flags up there. No overtaking on that section, and Mexico are heading for the double. Well, I said that only France and Brazil have done it in the past, but Mexico are all set to take both the sprint race and the feature race here. After settling in behind France, France picking up that problem. They haven't failed to finish any race this year. They didn't start the second race at Brands. They weren't classified as a starter, but France, having wrapped up the title, are not going to finish this race at Laguna.
Mexico and Salvador Duran still pushing. They're locking up brakes into turn 2. And of course, pressure coming behind from Germany and GB. Here we see now coming into turn 4. Germany in second, GB in third. Again, watch those pools of water on the edge of the corners. That's caught out many people in turn 6. Kerr looks down the inside, locks up the inside wheel, just about manages to get away with it, but that could have been contact between cars currently in second and third place.
But he always has a go, doesn't he? You always watch Robbie Kerr, and he's always going to have a go, if at all possible, to overtake. Those cars still there on the inside, but everybody aware. And the USA out. They were in the points. What has happened to Team USA? It's all gone wrong for them too.
Less 45 seconds to go. This race will be over. It depends where, well, in fact, Mexico will come across the line. There'll be one more lap after this, and this race will have gone 1 hour duration. It will have gone, in fact, a total of, well, it's going to be 6 laps, less than 40, whatever it is going to be, 40, 30, work it out.
Let's not worry. Let's watch the battle for second place. It's still Germany from Great Britain, and Germany on for their best result here. This has been a tremendous drive by Timo Scheider. Not put a wheel wrong, and we've seen lots of people make mistakes now. Can he maintain that sort of composure onto the final lap? Robbie Kerr's running out of options.
His best chance, as we look at English lap, Pierre and he'll rue what went wrong, being stuck in third gear, not his fault. Kerr locks up into turn 3. He's trying to get himself in a position. He's trying to get close to the back of Germany, not to pass in 4, but to try and make that move. His last chance, really and realistically, will be into this corner coming up, turn 5.
He's on the power boost. The red light flashing away on the bottom of your screen.
Oh, a bit of oversteer as he turns in. Not a problem. He's got it under control.
Can't take over here, though. No, the yellow flags deny that.
And he won't be able to do it up into the corkscrew either. It's too difficult. The only person who's done that successfully is Alex Zanardi, and I don't see Alex Zanardi in Robbie Kerr.
Well, he was too far back there because he ran over the curb. He made a little mistake on that last corner where the yellows were waving, and Scheider's made that little bit of a break. I think he's now got second place sorted as Timo Scheider, but this is the car that's going to take victory, and for the second time today, the 20-year-old Mexican, Salvador Duran, is going to take victory. What an amazing day it has been for Team Mexico. They had disaster disaster on home turf last time, but it's double victory here in California. Second place goes to Germany, their best result, and Great Britain finishes in third, further cementing their third place in the series. Portugal take fourth position. Canada we're expecting to see come home in fifth. Yes, Patrick Carpentier across the line. Team Ireland, I think, are going to come through in sixth place. They were fairly lonely in that position, but what a day it has proven to be for Mexico.
It'll be Coronas all round in the Mexican team tonight, because that's a victory that they thought they could have had in Indonesia, and maybe inexperience and a little bit of naivety in the part of Salvador Duran. But today, a superb victory in the sprint race. A victory maybe fortuitous in that France went out with a technical problem, but nonetheless, they were there all the time. And look at the delight in the Mexican team. Oh, that's Team GBR, I beg your pardon. At least they've got on the podium. The last race, Robbie Kerr will be driving for Team GBR. It'll be Darren Manning, the Yorkshireman, in the car in Shanghai.
Yes, indeed, and some useful prize money added to the tally. Hopefully the boys are on a bit of a bonus with that. And of course, as I say, it means that Great Britain have put themselves further into that, safely into that third position, and that was really the crucial target this weekend, with a new driver coming in into terms of Darren Manning, who's very quick, very capable, but of course it will be tough coming into the series fresh without any experience of driving the car. I think Robbie Kerr's done them proud today. He's got the points that they needed, and of course with Brazil failing to score points in this race, New Zealand also outside the points, the Netherlands outside the points, all of their major challengers really didn't perform today.
Yeah, I mean, they took advantage of the problems that Brazil had and consolidated with a very strong third place. And Robbie's done the job for Team GBR, and so he can go away and start his career in his new series with that in mind, and happy that he's delivered for his team.
So Mexico make their way in, and the celebrations are going to go along into tonight here for the Mexican team. And Salvador Duran has really made a name for himself this weekend. 2 classy victories. Yes, that one was inherited, but he was always there. He never made a mistake. Remember how long he hounded the Lebanese car? I think the Salvador Duran who started this series, John, would probably have made a rash move on that Lebanese car and thrown away his chances. He didn't do it this time.
No, there's something has happened. He's grown. He's just simply in the space of 2 months has gone from a driver who's got natural speed, a naturally courageous man, maybe impetuous, to somebody who's now showing both style and maturity in his driving, and they're getting rightly to the congratulations from his team. And it's going to be interesting to see Salvador Duran when he goes to Shanghai in 3 weeks' time. Totally different racetrack that we've been to since we've come into the new year. It's a full Formula One Grade A circuit, a Grand Prix circuit. That very long straight, difficult parabolic type corners. New challenge, but I'm sure we're going to see Mexico consistently at the front.
Austria, Matthias Lauda got into the points. He finished in 9th place. So did Australia. Ryan Briscoe finished in 8th place. So they fought hard today. But there, Timo Scheider, well done to Team Germany. They finished in 2nd place. That's very much their best result. They were 4th last time out in Monterey. David Sears just in the background. His team looking after the engineering side of things for Team Germany. And the team principal there, Willy Weber, of course, he'll be delighted. Not here this weekend, but delighted with the performance of his team, taking 2nd place. They managed to fend off Robbie Kerr, but he got a podium to complete his A1 Grand Prix experience.
Yeah, the one thing I know that Robbie will be disappointed in his time in A1GP, he's taken part in 10 rounds, there's one more to go, and that is he didn't actually get onto the winner's podium.
So, Duran for Mexico, the winner of the feature race in California. Germany finished in 2nd place ahead of Great Britain. Portugal well up again in 4th, and Canada recovering from a poor qualifying to end up with 5th place in the feature. Then Ireland, Italy. Max Papis will be well pleased to get into the points on his debut in A1 ahead of Australia, Austria and Malaysia. 11th place for Pakistan, just outside the points on their return, ahead of New Zealand, Switzerland, France down there in 14th, still classified despite not finishing. And then the USA, they had a problem right at the end. They were running in the points, so I don't quite know what happened. 16th for Thomas Enger, the Czech Republic, then China, Brazil, Indonesia, Lebanon, the Netherlands, entertaining but not unfortunately scoring points this time, and South Africa. And fastest lap, that final point of the day, went to France. So that's been another exciting, entertaining and sort of seesaw, I would say, day to day in terms of results. France looked to be in command there, had that mechanical problem. I think the other teams could have done with some mechanical problems for France earlier this year, and it's come after they've wrapped it all up.
That's inevitable. When a team wins a championship, quite often they go into a period when things don't quite happen, whether it's a subconscious relaxation or whether it just happens to be that favourite excuse of a racing driver, sod's law. You just can't always explain it. But we have gone through a myriad of emotions here today with Salvador Duran winning his first race, the sprint race, in pretty atrocious conditions, having secured pole position for a blinding lap in that final qualifying, and then benefiting from the misfortunes of France and Nicolas Lapierre. The car apparently stuck in third gear, and finally then coming to a grinding halt on the circuit, but battles all the way through the field, but also excitement taking place, particularly up at turn 6. We saw Stephen Simpson getting into trouble up there, and then towards the end of the race, the Czech Republic making that error, and then again a second sympathy spin from Team China. New Zealand somehow or other dived through. Don't forget about Graham Rahal. That amazing drive from Graham Rahal started from the pit lane on slick tyres, led the race, then ran in second place and defended that staunchly from much more experienced Mexico, Germany, Team GBR, Portugal, all putting pressure, then finally getting caught out on that bit of wet track in turn 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of shouting going on down there. It's funny, isn't it, how you get the win in the sprint race and it's exciting, but now he can truly relax because they've got to keep psyched up after that sprint race. I think we'll see quite a different Salvador in the press conference to the one we saw after the first race. He had to keep the focus, had to keep the attention. Now he can all just let it go.
Yes, the difficulty that he faced was he started this feature race on slick tyres. The majority of the field opted to start on wet tyres, including France, who started alongside in the grid. France got the advantage on traction off the line, took the lead. It took a couple of laps for those slick tyres to really come to terms with the track conditions. Once that happened, then things stabilised. France then decided it was right to come in and make a pit stop, but they'd got sufficient advantage in those opening laps, combined to another brilliant stop from the French team in that mandatory pit stop to get back out. And the difference when France came on track with Mexico, who had yet to make the pit stop, was quite simply about a second.
Yeah, and it all came together for them, and as I mentioned earlier on, by getting that result, Mexico's managed to leapfrog 3 nations with their efforts here today. They've moved ahead of Australia, Italy and the Czech Republic. So for the second time today, we hear the Mexican anthem and the big smile for Salvador Duran and for Timo Scheider of Germany. It's a good solid second place there, and it's time for the champagne shower. For Team Germany, a very useful boost of points for them. They were on just 29 coming into this race. Popped it up now to 38 points, courtesy of getting 9 points for second position, and that's not quite gained them any ground yet, but it's put them in touch with people like Australia, Italy and the Czech Republic.
Of course, the Czech for winning this race doesn't do any harm either.
No, that's right, another $300,000 there going to Team Mexico, and of course by winning the sprint race you don't actually win any money, so that's why the team's even happier now.
Oh, indeed, and you can see Salvador Duran, I'm sure he's equally happy with that fact. He will not have escaped his mind that this is the money race. The sprint race is really about getting yourself positioned to take advantage of that, but ultimately it'll be about the winning for your nation and the points to go with that. And I would love to see some of the local papers down in Mexico City or in Monterrey as Robbie Kerr and Salvador Duran have a bit of rough and tumble on the podium.
I hope to see you next year.
Salvador Duran, you thought you might get back in here. It was a pretty dramatic race, but yet again, you got over the finish line first. Just talk us through it from your point of view.
It was quite a nice race. Since the beginning, I was pushing hard. We decided to go with slick tires. I think was the right choice because if there was no yellow flag, then we can pull away a bit. Or if there was a yellow flag, we can still come in and go back in our position. So it was quite a good decision of the team. I felt good. France just passed me by half second in the pits after the pit stop. So it was really nice to do like that. And then, well, I don't know who was in the car of Livano, but he made just things really difficult, you know, and he just made another caution because, well, maybe inexperience, maybe something. He just make it difficult here. But after all, it was nice, and well, then I had the luck. I was there, you know, to like in qualifying. I was there to take advantage of mistakes or of bad luck, like this time to Nicolas, and I took it. But anyway, I think we had a good pace and we had a good car, and I felt very good.
A pole position and 2 race wins. You really made your mark today.
Yeah, well, it's difficult, but we did it.
Congratulations, Team O'Scheider, Team Germany. Your first podium, but it's been a long time coming for you, and not for a lack of hard work.
Yeah, that's right. So it was a amazing weekend. We had a lot of trouble with the weather, you know that, and in the end of the day we made it. And in the end of the day we had a nice race, and nice race with all these guys. We had difficult situations in the sprint race, and afterwards in the main race, like he said, with the Lebanon guy, he was really tough to overtake. I was next to him and he was pushing me to the grass, so it was on the edge, let's call it. But in the end, I'm really happy. That was my last race for A1 or in A1, because I'm going back to DTM right now. So it's a nice final for me. I'm really happy for the team. They did a great job during the pit stop. We pulled from P5 to P3 then, and in the end, the bad luck from Nicolas. So in the end, it was fine, and I'm really happy about it.
And just sum up your thoughts of A1.
Yeah, overall, I'm happy that I did that. So. Willy Weber called me once and he said, okay, you would like to do A1? I said, okay, we can try that. And I tried it now for 6 or 7 times. And with this final, it was great in the end of the day. And I'm really looking forward to have this championship the next few years, because all the fans and guys I know, they tell me every time on TV it looks really spectacular overtakings, not just on the pit stop like it is in Formula 1 maybe, yeah? That is overtaking on the track and fighting on the track.
Robbie Kerr, this is your last race too, but you tried so hard to get past Timo towards the end of the race. You just couldn't quite do that.
I was very disappointed in the pit stop for Timo to nip past, but Parente was very slow coming into the pit lane, and it allowed Timo to catch up a lot of time. And he got a good pit stop, which was really good by his team. But we had a good one, and unfortunately he just managed to creep out ahead of us, but we were close up behind for the whole race, but unfortunately he couldn't make that pass.
Again, this is your last race for A1. You've had plenty of podiums. You didn't get the win. Just sum up your season.
Obviously, I'm disappointed not to get the win, and before I hand over to Darren. But no, this season's been fantastic. Thank you to John and Tony and Wade for giving me this opportunity to represent my country in A1 Grand Prix. It's been a fantastic season, and hopefully I'll be back next year.
Salvador, just finally, you wanted to get some more points for Team Mexico today. You did that. You've jumped them up 3 positions in the table. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And well, like I said, it's difficult because sometimes you have opportunities and you have to take them. This time we had 3 pole position, the first win and the second. So it's nice. You know, I know people like him that has been fast, has been in poles and never win, but always in the podium. So it's always, there is some chances that you get. And this time we were able to take them, and I'm very happy because of that.
Guys, thanks very much.
Thank you.
But